But if he does, then he really doesn't belong in this thing. He should go to some impersonal website or Zoom call somewhere else where people
Exactly.
think as he does, you know. This is
Yeah,
for
exactly.
people that are in the Istagosthi, spirit soul. We have identity as spirit soul. We're never without identity, and we never see Krishna without identity.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
that's a very distinctive feature because it's a personal philosophy, Krishna consciousness. So that's one of the reasons why all these Mayavadis and Aparadis were never successful, because they were presenting the Supreme Personality of Godhead as some kind of energy, all one, a hodgepodge. So Prabhupada's unique Gaudiya Vaishnava presentation, that's best.
Exactly. And whatever they conclude, whatever they believe, however strongly they can present their case, one thing is absolutely for sure, it will do them no good at the moment of death.
Yeah.
It will keep them separated from Krishna until they have some sort of massive change of heart.
There's one more point, bro. I couldn't understand his psyche, but who's the Lord you're pleasing, right? Where do you want to go? He can't understand that also. He can't, reply on that question. I mean, who's the Lord? He's not replying that also. Is that someone in the
He
air
believes that
providing knowledge?
all the forms are simply for women and children, and that God has no form, that it just has the form just to entertain people.
What's the name of the God? He's not answering that also, no?
He doesn't know. Your identity as the being in the material world.
Yeah, it was very.
Ego.
We pinned him
I
down,
don't
but
mean egotistical ego. I mean
he
ego.
didn't want to answer, or
Yeah, I looked at the mirror.
whatever.
Yeah, we should give him a choice what to do, but we cannot tolerate Mayavada conclusions. That's ego determines. But the bigger sense of the word ego is.
So we got
identity
some comment
of the body.
regarding that video. Dr. Robin Prabhu posted a comment. He's a devotee from Germany.
Which is
What makes you say,
Kaushal
what
is
did
very
he say?
offensive. You can see it. Can you see it on the screen? Kaushal is very offensive in his Mayavadi theory, especially clarified by Srila Prabhupada.
which is
Then he quotes,
influenced
two words
by
are very
our
significant in
experience
this verse.
in life.
Created by our experience.
Triyanam indicates three, namely Lord Brahma,
Go
In
ahead.
other
Lord
words,
Shiva, and Lord Vishnu.
if you want to become a dog in your
Bhidam
next
means
life,
different.
do what dogs
They are
do in this
three,
life.
and therefore they
And
are
your ego
separate.
as a human
But
being
at the same
will
time,
become
they
the
are
ego
one.
as a dog.
This is the philosophy of the simultaneously oneness and difference, which is called.
Now,
What
if
are we
The
you're-
doing?
example
What are
given
we
in the
doing
Brahma
in this
Samhita is that
lifetime?
milk and
We're not
yogurt are
being dogs.
simultaneously
We're
one and
being.
different.
What are we being?
Both are milk,
Eating,
but the
sleeping,
yogurt has become
eating,
taint.
We're pretty
sleeping,
close.
In order to achieve
Okay,
real
there's like
peace.
too many.
What?
There's too many
Eating-
voices
go
going
ahead.
on here.
eating, sleeping, mating, and
Too many?
defending. That is what
Not
all.
We
mine.
are animals only, Mahaprabhu. We are Hurry, animals, hurry, right? bol. We live What's like happening? animals only, no? Hurry, bol. What's
We're
happening,
also eating
guys?
dog food, also. Most
Hari
of the
Bol,
time.
Hare Krishna.
Hari
Bol.
There's like a
Hari
million
bol,
people
Hari bol.
talking at the same time.
I'm
Oh,
missing
no.
that body,
Guys.
that bodily experience. But
What is that?
Eating,
One of those
sleeping,
other
that's
voices.
the
One of them sounds sort of like me.
motivation for us, Hari right? bol.
Right,
Right,
Can you
Mahaprabhu?
hear
Why
me?
are you talking like this? Hari bol.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
Prabhu, I can hear you. Everyone is speaking like anything, no? Why is there
Hari
so many
bol.
energies coming? What has
Hari
happened?
bol.
Everyone has gone transcendental, or what?
What's going on?
Wow.
I was reading. Is it okay?
Hare
now?
Prabhu, let's join again. I mean, there are million voices coming once, twice, here and there, here and there.
Okay.
Huh.
I'll end the
Hari
meeting
bol.
and start it over again. I'll start it over again. Okay.
Das
All
and
right.
Das
Now
is
it's-
alike.
Now it's
Is that Mahaprabhu?
Yes, it is.
Is-
Hare
Is
Krishna.
it better now?
Good to have you.
Thank
Is
you
it
so
done?
much for letting me in.
Oh, yes.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, is it better now or what's going on?
Yeah,
Sounds
it's better
great.
now.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I guess. Okay, let's see.
It's a
Well, if
glitch.
it's all one,
An
then it doesn't
artifact.
matter what's going on. But
It's a hiccup.
Okay, so it's okay. So,
Strange things happen.
okay, so let's go back to the comment that Robin Prabhu posted regarding that
Kushal.
discussion. Yeah, Kushal, yes. So here it is. Let's see. Okay, Swarupa, can you please read it? You're the best reader. Can you see it?
Sure. Kushal is
best.
very offensive in his Mayavada theory. Everything clarified by Srila Prabhupada. Quote, 2 words are very significant in this verse. Trayanam indicates 3, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. Bhidam means different. They are 3, and therefore they are separate, but at the same time they are one. This is the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference, which is called. The example given in the Brahma Samhita is that milk and yogurt are simultaneously one and different. Both are milk, but the yogurt has become changed. In order to achieve real peace, one should see everything and every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is independent. Every one of us is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This accounts for unity and diversity. There are diverse manifestations, but at the same time, they are one in Vishnu. Everything is an expansion of Vishnu's energy.
Okay, so
It sounds like the
Narayan-
it sounds like the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
oh, that's only in the universe, in the material universe.
Mhm. It's
So,
a
I
triad.
think
It's a triad.
Yeah, but I think that he is also a little bit off track because he said everything is coming from Vishnu, but actually Vishnu himself is coming from Krishna.
who's
seems
saying
like-
this?
It seems like 3 is a very important number.
Not really. Not well. What's the important part?
Trihadanam indicates 3, namely Lord Brahman,
Brahma,
Lord Shiva,
Shiva.
and Lord Vishnu. Everything
Okay.
seems to be a triad. 3 is a magic number, it seems.
Not necessarily.
That's
just
what I'm
in the-
That's
just-
what I'm reading.
just- You're reading that, but there's three demigod beings in the material universe.
Yeah, but Vishnu's not a demigod.
Brahma is like us.
That's Vishnu.
Brahma
Yeah,
is
he
a
said Vishnu is not a
jiva like
demigod.
us. Huh?
Mahaprabhu's
Brahma is a living being like us, but he is the creator of the universe, which he does without being God or without being Vishnu or without anything like that. He just happens to be the person designated to be in charge of this universe, just like a king is in charge of the kingdom. And as far as Vishnu is concerned, he is himself Krishna. So he's completely way beyond Brahma. Brahma is a living being like us, like you, Ramachandra, and Mahaprabhu. There's no difference in tattva, meaning in size, between Brahma and Mahaprabhu.
Change my
Okay.
name, Ramachandra Singh does.
okay, do it now.
I appreciate it.
Narayana, this verse is from Prabhupada's book.
Which one?
Let me give the exact place. Hold on one second. This quote.
Easy,
Prabhupada
easy, Mohit. It's gonna be okay, brother.
Okay,
Mohit.
man. Got it. Got it, Agba.
It's gonna be okay, brother. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, man.
What's going on in the background that I don't know about?
I'm just looking at the expressions.
Oh, okay.
We're going to be
He's trying to
fine.
make- We're gonna be fine. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Well, India, while you're getting these things together, Brahma is like us, Jiva Tattva. Vishnu is like Krishna, Vishnu Shattva, or from the absolute plus, he's an expansion, not a part and parcel of Krishna. And Shiva is a part of Vishnu, in that Shiva is compared to being like yogurt and Vishnu like milk. You can take milk and turn it into yogurt, but you cannot take yogurt and turn it back into milk. And what is the significance here is that the reason why Shiva can never go back and become Vishnu at any point is because he has come in contact with material energy. So we have these three elements in the universe: the creator, the maintainer, and the destroyer. Brahma is the creator, Vishnu is the maintainer. He's lying in the ocean, and he's lying in the ocean on the serpent Ananta, and Lakshmi is in his lap, massaging his feet. And when the time comes for the end of the universe, Shiva manifests and dances. You've seen Shiva's dance. There's many sculptures of it with flames coming up, and he's dancing like a Bharatanatyam dance. And he destroys the entire universe with his feet. So that's the relationship. They're not all one. Now, Rupa, you were saying something that this is a book by Prabhupada. Which book
Yeah,
is it?
Ramachandra, scroll up. So let's see what.
This is Srimad Bhagavatam. What is this? Fourth canto, chapter 7, verse 54.
Okay.
What does it say?
Okay, so the verse says, the Lord continued, one who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, or the living entities in general to be separate from the Supreme, and who knows Brahman actually realizes peace and others do not.
How do we
Rupa, can you-
experience peace?
Okay, let's read the purport. Rupa, can you fire up with the purport?
2 words. Oh, I already read it.
Is it the same thing?
Read it again.
Yeah,
Okay,
Read it
one more
again.
time, please.
I'll read it again. 2 words are very significant in this verse. Trayanam indicates 3, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. Pidam means different. They are 3 and therefore they are separate, but at the same time they are one. This is the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference, which is called blank. The example.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Siddha Veda Veda Tattva.
I'm
I think it's
sorry.
missing some words here. Yes, it's missing. This is not a complete translation. Okay, go ahead, Rupa.
Yeah, but the part that's missing is Achinta Veda Veda Tattva, simultaneously, inconceivably one and different.
The example given in the Brahma Samhita is that milk and yogurt are simultaneously one and different. Both are milk, but the yogurt has become changed. In order to achieve real peace, one should see everything and every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. No one is independent. Every one of us is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This accounts for unity and diversity. There are diverse manifestations, but at the same time, they are one in Vishnu. Everything is an expansion of Vishnu's energy.
That's what I was trying to say previously. There, we are all connected to the same source.
Vishnu.
And nobody agreed with me.
Well,
Can you
maybe we
define?
didn't understand what you were saying.
Yeah, can you define what do you mean, Mahaprabhu?
I'm saying that we are all connected to the same jiva, but I was told that we're all
Not
different
jiva.
jivas.
No. Vishnu is not a jiva.
I'm sorry.
So can you
Jiva
make
is
the
an
point again?
infinitesimal part and parcel of Krishna or Shiva or Vishnu.
I don't know. I'm still a karmi.
Inconceivably, we are
Mahaprabhu has so
inconceivably
many
small,
transcendental
and Vishnu
questions.
is inconceivably huge.
So Mahaprabhu, say a point again. Well, we want to see what you're getting towards.
I'm saying that we're all connected to the same source, but I keep on being told that we're all from a different jiva, we're all from a different spirit, we're all from a different source. I'm trying to find the connection that we all have.
The source
The
is
connection-
Krishna.
Yes.
We all must be connected to the same Krishna.
We are all connected to Krishna. Vishnu
Amen.
is a partial expansion of Krishna.
What about Indra?
Indra is just a person like us. He's just got a bigger hat.
Okay, got it. Thank you for
So
clarifying.
Mahaprabhu, is this making sense now? Every
Yes,
living entity is an individual person. They have their own consciousness, but they're part of Krishna's. They're part and parcel of Krishna.
That's what's
Just
In
keeping
other
us
you
words,
are.
together.
The probable purpose of this verse, the Prabhupada is explaining, is that nothing is outside of Krishna's
Vishnu.
potency.
Yes.
Yeah, everything is in Krishna. But Brahma is a jiva. He's infinitesimal. Vishnu is infinite, but he's not as complete as Krishna. He's not as complete as Balaram either. And Shiva is not as complete as Vishnu because he has become turned into yogurt because of contact with matter. Vishnu and Krishna never come in contact with material energy,
Ever.
ever.
Okay. I'm learning.
You are. Be
Be
sure
patient
your
with me.
father. You be sure your father learns too.
Thank you, Narayan. Good point.
Yeah.
So yes,
Haribol.
the missing word was achinta beda bed tattva,
Which means?
Achinta Veda Veda Tattva.
Which
yes,
means?
can we? Okay. Who can
It
explain
means it means simultaneously one and different, which is like
One-
a paradox.
Right.
See, so to get it into our manageable bite-sized portions, one means this on this platform we're only dealing with spiritual energy. Different means each potency of spiritual energy may be different than the other one. So Krishna is the original, Radha and Krishna are the original source of all forms of everything.
All forms of everything.
Yeah, I mean, if Krishna expands himself and becomes manifested as his brother, Balaram. Balaram expands himself and becomes one after another 4 Vishnus. Vishnu expands himself and enters the material universe, gets romantically hooked up with the material energy, and becomes like Shiva, but he cannot go back to the spiritual world because he has come in contact with matter.
Krishna has a brother.
Krishna has a brother,
And his name?
Balaram.
And what happened to him?
He's there.
He's present.
He's in Krishna Loka with Krishna.
Okay.
Remember, the kingdom of God and where we are 2 different places.
Okay.
When Lord Chaitanya manifested, he manifested as Radha and Krishna from Krishna Loka. everybody's chanting Hare Krishna, it means Radha Krishna, Radha Krishna. We're talking about Krishna Loka. And Balaram descended as Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya's brother, associate, I mean. And when he manifested as Lord Nityananda, he is actually the same as Balaram. So after him, in this golden age of Kali, emerges a sort of a mini sampradaya, which goes from, it's only 550 years ago, and it comes up with Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhakti Gorkashore Das Babaji, Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Thakur, and then Srila Prabhupada. That's very short. This regular sampradaya has thousands of people lined up in it. If you have a Bhagavad Gita, as it is, which you do, you can look at the front of it, and it'll show you the sampradaya. Sampradaya means the descent line of the cyclic succession, starting with Balaram in the spiritual world and coming down throughout to down all the way to Srila Prabhupada.
Okay, Mahaprabhu, are you there? Can you read, or are you driving?
I'm driving. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, yeah, we have the definition of Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. So, I'll read it. This philosophy is propounded by Lord Chaitanya as Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva. Everything is simultaneously one with and different from everything else. The cosmic manifestation created by the Supreme Lord by his material energy is also simultaneously different and non-different from him. The material energy is not different from the Supreme Lord, but at the same time, because that energy is acting in a different way, it is different from him. Similarly, the individual living entity is one with and different from the Supreme Lord. This simultaneously one and different philosophy is the perfect conclusion of the Bhagavad school as confirmed by Kapil Dev. So this is explaining what Achinta Bheda Bheda Tattva means. Mahaprabhu, any questions? Or we'll come back to this point before we end when you're at home, so you can read it.
Okay, I should be home in about 15, 20 minutes.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Okay.
We will
We have
await
Kaushal,
your arrival.
we have Kaushal Prabhu here. So, Kaushal Prabhu, we wanted to say some things
Before
to
that,
you.
Prabhu, can I ask a question?
Okay, Vinayak Prabhu, yes, go ahead. Yes.
So, Prabhu, like I have seen many times, like in ISKCON, many people say that Jai Pataka Maharaj was an associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Prabhupada said this, and Prabhupada authorized him to give initiations in some letters, and he said him that you are Parivrajak Acharya and these sort of things. So I wanted to discuss with Nar Narayan Prabhu, because these things happened during his time, that did Prabhupada used to discuss these things, like Jai Prataka Maharaj being an associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or a Parivrajak Acharya or these kind of things?
Of course not.
Because
Srila Prabhupada understood that all of his disciples were neophytes. They had come from sinful backgrounds. They were not Brahmins. They were not Vaishnavas. They were not Hindus. They were just hippies from the streets of different cities. And maybe these hippies had come especially to become disciples of Prabhupada, but he never identified any of his disciples as exalted. And in fact, he made it rather clear that after him, there was no need for further initiating acharyas. Everyone can be initiated by simply joining the ISKCON movement and taking diksha from ISKCON, which is, Prabhupada said ISKCON is my body. So they can take Diksha from ISKCON. They don't need initiation for any other reason, because generally the purpose of taking initiation is so that you will become liberated, or you will reach some God consciousness, or you will be guided to a higher platform of existence. However, Lord Chaitanya destroyed that whole situation, because when he broke open the storehouse of love of God, out flooded the pure love of God. And those who were devotees, they drowned. Those that were not devotees, they floated. And so it means that the Hare Krishna mantra, as brought out by Lord Chaitanya, is what everybody looks for from a guru. And you get it before you become a member of ISKCON. So if you become a member of ISKCON, you've already heard the Hare Krishna mantra. You are already saved, delivered, liberated, or whatever it is you want to call it, depending on your previous religion's ideas. Like Christians want to be saved, and so okay, you chant Hare Krishna, you're saved. So that is a guarantee provided by Radharani of being able to go back to Godhead as soon as you align yourself in loving relationship to Krishna in his spiritual world. Goloka Vrindavan.
All right, Kaushal Prabhu. No, Vinayak Prabhu, do you want to ask any further questions or a clarification?
No, like because there is a channel on YouTube like Memories of Srila Prabhupada, in which many of his associates during that time were interviewed, and in which Narnarayan Prabhu also gave an interview. In that there was one person also, like he was a son of an MP who helped Jayapataka Maharaj getting the visa or citizenship of India. So that person on a video, he was claiming that Prabhupada used to say him, that Prabhupada asked his father that this boy is an associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you please help him in getting this citizenship and those things. So
who's an associate of Lord Chaitanya?
Jayapataka Maharaj.
Who said that Prabhupada said that?
That was a son of an MP who associated with Srila Prabhupada for almost 7 years. He tried to find, because he was initially a follower of Chinmayanand in Mumbai. For 7 years, he tried to find faults in Prabhupada, and later he finally joined ISKCON. So that was the person. I don't remember his name, but that's on that Prabhupada's Memories series.
My particular personal standard, and it's a standard I recommend for everyone, is I don't take secondhand or third-hand view as bona fide. I only accept what Prabhupada says as bona fide. And I knew Jayapataka basically before he was initiated, when he was 18 years old, and I knew him in 1970. I knew him all the way along. He is not on that level, I assure you of that. He showed himself that way. He would argue very bitterly with Srila Prabhupada, and not nicely, not spiritually. So I think that could be understood that whoever told that son of the MP that person somewhere down the line, the story got tweaked to give Jayapataka a bigger image that he could possibly have in this particular lifetime.
Maybe that guy is his disciple, so he's tweaking it even more. Who knows? So-called disciple.
Yeah, and
Did he become a disciple of Prabhupada or a disciple of Jayapataka?
I don't think he's a disciple of Prabhupada. If he was, then he probably won't be saying that.
yeah, maybe he was an ordinary life member, so not a disciple.
Oh, I thought you said he joined ISKCON. You mean that he may have joined as a life member?
Yeah.
Oh, that's very possible. That's entirely possible. But, Prabhupada one time said something, and you can challenge me as to whether Prabhupada, you can challenge me and ask me, how do I know Prabhupada really said that? I'm being a little humorous, but Prabhupada said in my hearing and in the hearing of many others, so many things I have said, I have not said.
Yeah, I have heard that conversation.
Yeah. Well, I spent years with Prabhupada.
And they also share some, like on their website, they also share some letter of Prabhupada, which states that you guys are already authorized to give initiations, but it is not a custom that you start giving initiation in presence of your guru. So after departure of your guru, you can start
That was not written. That was a tape recording in what's it, May 28th or something of that sort.
They share a recording of 1969 or something, a letter.
No. Letter, no. He never, well, he may have said, he knew that his disciple, the people, he initiated malachas. And probably you're familiar with what is a malacha, correct?
Yeah.
He initiated malachas, chandalas. And having done so, it's not surprising that they, with their little shopkeeper brains, who want to become a mantravalas, that they immediately wanted to see, okay, I'm a temple president. I've brought so many devotees. We have very nice kirtan chanting. When do I become guru? You see what I mean? We can't, if we take that seriously, we'll be in serious trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're shopkeepers. They said, my dad had a shop. He died. Now I'm taking over his shop and I'm making it better than he had it. That's the mentality, shopkeeper mentality. They're not, spiritual mentality is totally different. If you examine the conversations between Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, or for that matter, the conversations between Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur and his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you will be amazed at the quality of the conversation, totally different than shopkeeping mentality. And if you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will see also no shopkeeping going on there. Pure, unalloyed love of God, pure bhakti. Okay?
So was that evident in those times that some disciples with their preaching programs, they tried to initiate disciples in presence of Prabhupada and they were stopped by Prabhupada? Like there is a letter of in which Prabhupada was saying to Brahmananda Prabhu that I have seen that you have initiated disciples, but you cannot do this in my presence.
Who was he wrote to?
Brahmananda Prabhu.
Brahmananda?
Yeah, in
You have seen,
1974.
what year?
1974.
You've seen the letter?
Yeah, like generally they on these websites I have seen which usually oppose this theory of officiating acharyas and Prabhupada. So they usually post these letters like to.
Prabhupada had never discussed anything officiating acharyas at that time, ever. Prabhupada didn't discuss initiating acharyas before a couple of months before he left his body, entered samadhi.
1977.
Yes. So this idea of Brahmananda initiating, I knew Brahmananda extremely well, starting in December of 68. And in 74, I knew them extremely well. They had become bewitched by Brahmabhutas to say that Prabhupada was God. As far as I know, none of them performed any initiation during that time. If they had, I would have known about it.
Hmm.
Well, no, that was later. That was 1970. They received Prabhupada. But in 74, Brahmananda was in Africa, as far as I recall.
Hmm.
It's possible that he initiated somebody, but I don't think he did. Or put it this way, you may have heard something and I've not yet heard it. And how did you hear that? You saw a letter from Prabhupada to that effect?
Yeah, like on one of the websites. Like I read this many months ago on one of the websites that usually oppose this officiating Acharya theory of Prabhupada. So there are some websites which are made specifically to oppose this Ritvik theory.
Do you happen to recall the date and location and everything like that of the letter?
Everything I remember was the letter of like 1974, and that was also quoted. That letter was also quoted in one of the GBC debates about this guru and initiation theories, in which Jayadvaita Swami was quoting this letter again about Prabhupada saying to Brahmananda Prabhu that you can initiate after my departure, but not now. So maybe like after the debates went further, that theory was nullified by some other counteracting participant in that debate. But
Well,
yeah,
anyone can initiate if they want to, but it's not the same thing as being initiated by an Uttama Adhikari. Srila Prabhupada's distinction is that his nature, is a descendant from Krishna Loka, and he came down to deliver the fallen souls. After Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, after Gorkashodas Babaji, and after Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and after Vishwanath Chakravarti, after Lord Chaitanya. So it's a very short branch. But it is, that short branch is also inside the longer branch, which goes all the way back thousands and thousands of years to Balaram in Krishna Loka.
So,
Prabhu,
Vinakshama, yes, Prabhu, go ahead. After you're done, I want to show a video that might bring some insight into what you're saying to
That'd be
expand on
great.
this. Since we
But
to expand on
Ramachandra,
this,
did you
Yes.
hear anything of story of Brahmananda initiating anywhere?
well, people wanted to initiate when Srila Prabhupada was present. Hansadura tried to initiate.
Did he
Hansadura
try
Prabhu
to initiate or he just talked about it?
yes. He tried to initiate, and Prabhupada told him that you can't do it. And then what's that guy in Elachwa? He tried to initiate. Achyutanandana tried to initiate. So Prabhupada said the etiquette is that you bring the prospective disciple to Srila Prabhupada. And plus, they were
Achyutananda?
not ready. So
He said Achyutananda?
go ahead, Vinayak Prabhu.
yeah, so
Achyutananda had already fallen
It's
down
there.
from ISKCON, fallen down from sannyas, and had
Letters
left
are there. Letters are
ISKCON
there
by
that.
time.
No, I'm saying letters are there that these devotees wanted to be the guru. It is there in the archives.
You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yes, and Prabhupada talks about it too.
But did Brahmananda have any disciples? Did he?
I've not heard about Brahmananda, but I've heard about Hamsadura and Achyutanandana Swami.
And who? Achyutananda?
Achyutanandana.
Are we saying Achyutananda The
Yes.
guy that wrote the Vaishnava songbook?
Yes. Yes. Him.
Well, he had already bloomed.
Well, yeah, but this was early when he was in.
Yeah, proper following in before
Calcutta?
1971.
Yeah. So yeah. So there is some truth to that, but I'm not sure about Brahmananda. Maybe people wanted to take Brahmananda as a guru. Who knows? But I'm not sure.
Well, it's not surprising if he was still in Africa.
Yeah.
The Gujarati people tended to worship him
Yes.
as a sannyasi
Right. Yes.
and wash his feet and stuff like that. I was there actually
Yeah.
in Nairobi, and I
So
saw
maybe
the whole thing.
Maybe that's the case there.
But I never saw any example of Brahmananda took any disciples. I mean, this is the sort of thing that would have come to my attention, I am sure. Of course, maybe it didn't, but for me to see it, I have to see the letter
Yes.
from Brahmananda.
Can you share the link?
Otherwise
Right.
it's just chit chat.
Haribol, can you share the link when I approve? Both the videos and as well as the letter one.
Which
Haribol.
one?
Video
Which one?
of who?
So
Video?
Prabhu, it might have been the possibility that in those times, due to insufficient knowledge about the Vaishnava philosophy, those disciples tried to do that. But after reprimanded by Srila Prabhupada, they stopped doing those kinds of things in his presence.
Well, in my experience, nobody starting in 1966 had any lack of knowledge on these matters. They knew exactly who Prabhupada was, they knew exactly who they were, and they knew exactly that they were not even remotely qualified to give initiation.
Okay.
Now, all the temple presidents, including Hansaduta, used to perform initiations in behalf of Prabhupada. Prabhupada would chant on the beads, he would give the name, then they would do the diksha of the fire sacrifice. So in that sense, they were rituals at that time, starting in 1971, 72, like that. Because Prabhupada couldn't initiate everybody, he was all over the world. He ended up with 5,000 disciples. I assure you that he didn't do 5,000 fire sacrifices. So all these people were initiated by temple presidents. And that's the way it should be right now. Everybody that wants to be initiated should be initiated by the temple president in behalf of Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada is a Sampradaya Acharya, and these guys aren't even up to the level of the average Hindu.
Average Hindu. Okay. Maybe they're up to the average Hindu.
Haribol, the video is sent in the link. I can't see Nanarayan Prabhu. I want to see Nanarayan Prabhu in a video. How great he was in his young times, no? Young
Huh?
devotee.
I
Hare
am the
Krishna.
servant. I am not a devotee. I am the servant of the servant of the servant of the devotee.
I want to have a video of his young devotee in ISKCON. How Prabhu used to preach and all.
I'm sorry?
Ramchandra Prabhu, can you just explain it?
No, you will have to explain it since you're saying it.
Prabhu, I was saying
What
that
he
I
said.
wanted to. Prabhu, I was saying that I wanted to look at your photos, no, at a young age, how you used to preach. So Vinayak Prabhu was saying, no, you were in that video. That's why.
Well, I was a devotee. I took initiation in 1968. And by December of 68, I had done a million different things. From
There he
spring of
is.
68 to December of 68, so many things were done.
There he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I already
So-
understand.
I'm holding a pole carrying Srila Prabhupada up the steps of Barshana, the place of where Radharani took birth as the daughter of King Vrishabhanu.
Okay, Joy. All right, so let's go to the video that I wanted to present, because we're talking about this issue of the Uttam Adhikari descending from the spiritual world and then coming here specifically for distributing the message of Lord Chaitanya. So this is the counter argument. This is the counter argument from the ISKCON crowd, because we're discussing this issue. I thought I'd bring this attention to everyone that's watching online. So here's the video that I wanted people to see. 1 second. This topic you'll see. Can everyone see? Let's see. The title is Srila Prabhupada, the last Acharya, Radhe Shyam Das. So this Radhe Shyam devotee is, I guess, a disciple of who is a disciple of? This Indian guys should know. I don't actually know. Is a disciple of Radhanath Swami or who?
Radhanath Swami.
Oh, Radhanath Swami. Okay, so he's a disciple of Radhanath Swami, and he's making a very big point. And when we watch this video, we'll see the discrepancies in his understanding. So let me play this video. So everyone's ready to hear?
Let's go for it.
I've already seen this.
Okay.
Okay, is Prabhupada last Acharya Gaudiya Sampradaya? Who said that? Some Ritviks are saying that. If yes, then why so? You have to go and ask them. Huh? Why there will be no further possibility of a devotee in order for the order of Prabhupada and so on. Yeah. See, they say that Prabhupada is the last Acharya and other Guru, because they think that nobody is qualified to be an Acharya. But actually, if Prabhupada was the greatest Acharya, will he not have the potential to make at least one Acharya next to him? That means they are underestimating the potential of Prabhupada, correct? No? Is it not true? So, Prabhupada has not just made one, there are many, many very powerful devotees Prabhupada made. So, the parampara will continue, parampara will never stop. There is a prediction, next 10,000 years, this movement is going to go to very great heights. There are predictions, several predictions for this 10,000 years concept also. So, like I was initiated by my spiritual master, Pamti Radhanath Maharaj in 1993. So I have watched him from 1991. 91, 2001, 2011, now almost 28 years or so, 28, 29 years. So I have seen he's the same person, he has not changed. I see him every morning, early morning, he's chanting, Mangalarati is attending, speaking wonderful katha, taking us to yatra, and he is a man of very high character. And 24/7 he is engaged in preaching activities, working, slogging hard. He is almost 68 or 69 years old now. He's working hard. And I watched him day after day, month after month, year after year, watching him. One cannot find a blemish. In the same manner, you have Zvanas Bhaktacharya Maharaj, Zvanas Jayapatak Swami Maharaj. You see, you can find like that. See all these gurus, this one Lokanath Maharaj, this one is Gopalakrishna Maharaj, this one is Radha Govind Maharaj. Not just one or two, many of them actually, Prabhupada disciples. And not just for 1 or 2 years. Some of them have completed 50 years. 50 years they have practiced. So do you still doubt them after 50 years also? Pata nahi, 51st year he can fall down or something. So the Ritviks, they have no reasonable arguments. They have unreasonable argument, saying that everything has ended with Prabhupada. That is their misconception.
Okay, so everyone heard that video. He's a very prominent person who speaks, and he's a so-called authority in ISKCON. So he made a point that we here at the League for 10K, we say that Prabhupada is the last Acharya, and he's a Sampradaya Acharya, and after that, he is saying that, there are many Acharyas in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. People have been practicing for 50 plus years. there are many acharyas like Radhanath Swami, Jayapataka Swami, Gopal Krishna, all these so-called devotees who've been practicing for many, many years. Right? Everyone heard that part?
So, Prabhu, indirectly, that devotee wants to say that, like, for example, we take a material question, like, for example, someone is working in a corporate world, right? If he's working for 50 years, in the 51 year, he can't go wrong, right? Because he's following the right path.
Yes. Yes,
Vice
yes.
president, 50 years, 51 year, he can't be wrong, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
someone who's been
get wrong, right?
practicing. Yes. Yes.
No, yeah, Prabhu, actually, like, we are not making a standard very clear here. Like, just because a person is able to follow regulative principles throughout his life doesn't mean that he is qualified to become an acharya. Because even
Exactly.
Mayavadis are able to follow regulative principles. So if for 15 years they are able to follow regulative principles, that doesn't mean that we will accept them as guru.
Exactly. The key that he does not touch on is the key that is in the nectar of instruction, the Bhakti Rishamrita Sindhu. And that is, okay, so there's a guy there, he's a priest. I mean, when he says guru, he does not make any distinction between a guru practicing for 50 years or a Catholic priest practicing for 50 years. What's the difference?
Right, right.
The point is, which adhikar? Is he a Kanistha adhikari, Madhyama adhikari, or Uttama adhikari?
Yes.
The guru must be an Uttama adhikari. He cannot obfuscate that unless he can prove or demonstrate that the person he's talking about is an Uttama adhikari, meaning on the same transparent level with Krishna in his rasa with Krishna. Then he's talking about an Madhyama adhikari, a Kanistha adhikari. Madhyama adhikari is not likely to want to become a guru because it would disturb what he's doing in trying to become a pure devotee, to become an Uttama adhikari. But the Kanistha adhikari, well, he's a social sort of guy, and he figures if I've been here 50 years, I should be in charge of something. And it's time for me to become the shopkeeper.
Yes, yes.
When I
Actually,
do
But where
When I
does this
do, I want the
devotee
link of
discuss the adhikar of the initiating gurus? They call them acharyas. You could call anybody acharya. You know?
right. Yes, that's a good distinction, that ISKCON has many shopkeepers to run their temples, and they the devotees equate them to be Uttamadhikaris or pure devotees, whatever, insufficient guidance, with whatever insufficient guidance they have.
Vinay Prabhu send the link where
Because
Narayan Prabhu there in the video.
Rupa Goswami clearly states that unless a person is an Uttamadhikari, he's giving insufficient guidance. So this guy is talking sociologically. Well, I know this guy 50 years, and this guy's there, that guy's there. There's so many 85 gurus, and they come and they go. I noticed that so many of the ISKCON gurus that used to be gurus are no longer listed in that list that you published, Ramachandra.
Yes.
So gurus coming and going, what difference is that between that and the Catholic Church, where you have so many priests coming and going? How do you distinguish? I mean, does anyone ask a priest, oh, to be a priest, you must be an Uttama adhikari? Has anyone ever told a priest that, or asked a priest, are you an Uttama adhikari? If you're not an Uttama adhikari, then you're not really the sort of priest I'm looking for. I'm looking for spiritual guidance. And I'm not going to get spiritual guidance from a priest who is like 10 notches above me in the scale of having remembered to chant his rounds and read books. I mean, reading books and chanting rounds for 50 years is not the equivalent of becoming a guru. Guru must be Uttama Adhikari. That's clearly stated by Prabhupada.
It's
We have
here.
those quotes, right, Ramachandra?
Yeah, it's in the Neck of Instruction, verse 5, Purport, the last few sentences. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttamadhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master.
And this is a book published by the BBT, written by Srila Prabhupada, authored by Rupa Goswami, who happens to be the manifestation of Rupa Manjari, the record keeper in Krishna Loka, a few notches down from Lalita and Vishaka, who are the closest associates of Radha and Krishna. And he has a difference of opinion with that level.
Haribol, I guess
Person.
Aryan Prabhu has a question. Just let him ask a question.
Sure.
And that's how they make they manifest that illusion in ISKCON. They say that Jayapataka Maharaj is an associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nitya Siddha Vaishnava and Uttamadhikari. So that's
Vinayak
how
Prabhu, send me the link of the video where Narayan Prabhu is there. I want to see him. The young devotee, right? Dancing on Prabhupada's
you can search on that channel of Prabhupada's memories.
So you can send the link, please, if possible.
How can people say what his adhikar is? Has anyone said he was an Uttama Adhikari?
Yeah, they even get offended if we say that he is not an Uttamadhikari.
And then what is his rasa with Krishna?
I don't know. They usually say that he is an eternal associate with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he's Nitya Siddha or a very big Vaishnava, these kind of things. Like the fanboys of ISKCON.
Okay.
And there was only a couple of decades ago that he was going to be possibly kicked out because he didn't ever chant his rounds.
Okay.
So he had to start chanting his rounds.
He's waiting for.
We have
devotee. Yeah, go ahead.
So
we have
why do we
Aryan
pay
Singh Prabhu.
attention? These are ordinary men trying to give themselves peacock feathers in their hats in order to seem important. We know that the quality of the guru is not that. The quality of the guru is in his ability to deliver the holy name in such a way that the population becomes absorbed and in ecstasy chanting. Jayapataka, I've known him since he was a little German, just brahmachari.
Okay, we want to give a chance to Aryan Singh Prabhu to make a comment or a question or whatever he likes to do. He had his hand raised and we didn't give him a chance. So go ahead, Prabhu.
Okay, let's hear from Aryan Singh.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, the video which Ramchandra Prabhu just shared, when that Prabhuji said that isn't Prabhupada capable of making an Uttam Adhikari? So what answer we will give to that? And another question is that is there any chance that there is any Uttam Adhikari in ISKCON or anywhere, even in this group? Or is there any chance even we can also be Uttam Adhikari in future if we follow? So what is the faith of us also? Like we all have to.
Do you consider me to be an Uttamadhikari?
Prabhu, I'm a neophyte. How can I say who is Uttam, who is Madhyam? I even don't know.
If I'm not an Uttamadhikari, then nobody's an Uttamadhikari. I'm just joking around here.
There you go.
Uttama Adhikari means you're in your rasa with Krishna. That's very clear. There's nobody who's an Uttamadhikari who did not descend from Krishna Loka.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Here in that video, the guy was saying that wasn't Srila Prabhupada capable of making someone an Uttamadhikari? Making. What is this making someone an Uttamadhikari? That's a
Yeah,
That's a
you
crazy
say, you
thing.
consider Prabhupada is so potent, he's so spiritual, he's such a great devotee, he's an Uttamadhikari. He can't just touch somebody and make him an Uttamadhikari.
That's what he's saying.
Prabhupada was very much against that notion because he said that Ramakrishna, the leader of the bowels of Bengal that were descended illegitimately from the line of Lord Nityananda, that a few hundred years ago, over the last few hundred years, that Ramakrishna was a Kali worshiper, Durga Kali, and his disciple Vivekananda, he told Vivekananda to come up to him and touched him and said, "Now I have made you into God. I was God, now I've made you into God."
Maybe
Prabhupada spoke on that so many times. The hippies in the San Francisco, New York, were very addicted to Nityananda. I mean Vivekananda, and all these types of gurus. And Prabhupada tore them apart. That's not, you can't do that. You don't touch somebody and make them into a guru.
maybe we're Uttamarikaris and we don't know it.
Who?
Us.
Oh, you are, not me.
I doubt that I am.
Well, I doubt it. Once you can say one of us is an Uttamadhikari, you might as well say it's me. Maybe it's Mahaprabhu. He's an Uttamadhikari. Tell us past, present, and future at all times, please.
Please,
I
please,
think-
we are waiting for this. Yeah.
And
I
tell
think
us
you-
all your previous births.
I think you are the closest to being an Uttamarikari than we are.
Oh, sure.
You don't believe that.
Me?
You may be an Uttamarikari and you don't know it.
In Uttamadhikari does know it. He knows it from his birth because he was sent down from Krishna Loka in order to deliver the fallen conditioned souls. That would be like saying to Jesus, maybe you're the Son of God, but you don't know it.
So at what level do you believe you are at?
I'm lower than the straw in the street.
As we all are. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, sure. Here we all are, lower than the straw in the street. That's the best place to be. Lord Chaitanya said that we should consider ourselves to be lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. So where do these guys that become ISKCON guru, where are they devoid of false prestige? They're shopkeepers. Dad had a nice shop. I inherited the shop. Now I'm the shopkeeper because he died.
Good point.
I'll name this video ISKCON Shopkeeper Gurus.
It's a nice phrase that came out of this conversation. Because that's the
Mahaprabhu,
mentality. You know, you can see that all these guys were from middle-class families. They left, they became drug-taking hippies. Then they became devotees. Then their skills from their previous birth started kicking back in. They became good managers, good Sankirtan leaders. If they had put those talents to work, they could have become real estate agents, or they could have become shopkeepers, or they could have become craftsmen and made or carpenters. But no, they became temple presidents. And so because of that, they immediately imagined that they were next in line to Prabhupada. How could they think that? Unless they're shopkeepers. Because if I'm a shopkeeper, if my dad owns the shop and I'm working for dad, when he goes, well, I get the shop, right? Why wouldn't I get the shop? somebody else will get it? Or worse yet, what happens? Nobody gets the shop. We turn it into a co-op. A co-op shop with no owner to it. So Srila Prabhupada really was not in a position to argue with these guys. Why? Because it doesn't make any difference in the end. They're not, they don't know how to take care of the shop. You see?
Yeah, exactly. They
So
refined it.
So they
They
imagine,
refined.
oh, if I inherited the shop because my name is Das and my spiritual master's name was Das, and we both are Das's, therefore I'm qualified to run the shop. That is
Have you
just
been,
material
have you
thinking.
been have you been able to run the shop, Narayan?
This shop that we're on right now? No,
The shop
I'm the
of-
servant.
The shop of your life.
No,
and your dad.
I'm running the shop. I'm running the shop here.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Ramachandra's the shop,
Very
running the
well.
shop. He's the
Yes,
chairman of the board.
He's the boss, baby.
Yeah,
That's the way to
he's
go.
He's the chairman.
Absolutely.
I'm the shop chairman. I'm
Yes,
the
that's
shop
right.
chairman. Okay.
And a president, vice president, right? Vice president.
That's right. He's CEO.
Be aware. Be aware
Okay.
of him. Yeah.
So I think
This is where the disease comes in. If we understand that Prabhupada, look at Prabhupada in relationship to Bhaktisiddhanta. Did Prabhupada claim to be a shopkeeper?
Never.
He was told to preach in English language, and he preached in the English language. He went to
Hare
America
Krishna.
and preached in the English language. He never became a shopkeeper. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati never left India. But
Hell
Prabhupada's
yeah.
mission was different. You see, we have to just understand once and for all that the spiritual master is not an ordinary man. And if he leaves, then people can say he was an ordinary man and said, now I'm an ordinary man and I'm his successor. I inherited the shop.
Who is the spiritual master?
Prabhupada.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
He's the one, Prabhupada took on disciples that he wanted to go out and preach and spread the holy name all over the world. But between 1966 and 1977, approximately 10 years, he personally spread the holy name of Krishna all over the world. Russia, Germany, England, Belgium, India, Sri Lanka, Africa.
And came
He
to America.
personally-
Came to America without a penny.
Well, he had 500 pennies.
Wow. Hare Krishna.
okay,
But-
so is everyone getting what the points we're discussing? Why Prabhupada is the last Acharya and why he's the guru of and the Diksha and Shiksha guru for everyone? There should be no doubt about this point. Otherwise, the people who are doubting this point will eventually get cheated. Like in Narayan Prabhu has mentioned, Rameshwara, Bhagavan, all these people who have came and left that are no longer on the guru list. A lot of people left because of these fall downs of these initiators. So it's a very dangerous.
And a few years after they became initiators and declared themselves successor gurus to Prabhupada, a couple of years, one would leave. Then the disciple began reinitiated by another one. He would leave. Sometimes 3 or 4, they'd be initiated by 3 or 4 people. In in less than 10 years. I mean, doesn't that strike you as absurd?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like a man having like 5 wives or 10 wives. You know, one goes away, next one goes away, next one goes away. It's like crazy. It's like it's very destructive. To
It didn't work out.
yeah,
And,
it's
yeah.
just. I mean,
So the main thing is if the disciple was qualified, if the initial 11 gurus were qualified to be gurus, they would not have fallen down because they would have been Uttama Adhikaris.
yeah. So if Jayapataka was an Uttamadhikari, and if he followed what Prabhupada did, why were they fighting? Kirtananda was fighting this guy, and they were all in, you know, crazy after disciples.
Yeah. So they were just functioning because they wanted to be gurus. Prabhupada gave them a chance to cheat themselves into being gurus.
Yes.
He made them into ritviks, which means that as soon as he entered samadhi, they would be unemployed. Because if a ritvik initiates on behalf of someone else, is that right, Rupa Manjari?
Yes.
Rupa? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you elaborate a little bit? So if ritvik initiates on behalf of someone else, then what happens when someone else is gone?
He still continues because Prabhupada is the spiritual master. He knew that the Ritvik is not, he's just performing an officiating ceremony, just like when we get married, the priest does the ceremony. The priest is not getting married, you know, he's just doing a ceremony.
Yeah.
And the priest might not be there in 20 years or in 5 years.
But they all demonstrated that they were not qualified to be gurus because so many of them fell down.
Right. Right.
And I noticed that Satsvarup, of all people, is not on that list of gurus that you published.
Satrup has been demoted by the unelected GBC.
Why?
We don't want to discuss.
What happened to all of his disciples? Did they have to take reinitiation?
Yeah, it's very destructive, this guru business.
And there is a concept of Shiksha Guru, like they usually don't take reinitiation. They just in their mind they accept some other guru as their guru, and it's gone. If their guru falls down, then they accept some other guru as their guru and start worshipping their pictures.
So what's the difference between that and the Christianity or Islam? It's all material. Do you know, Prabhu, a single person, including yourself, who is free from bodily consciousness?
Maybe you, Prabhu.
Yeah, sure. But no, I'm asking, do you know anyone? Do you know any of the gurus in ISKCON, the initiators in ISKCON, Kanistadikar initiators?
Mahaprabhu is the big contender of
Do you know a single one that is not still in bodily consciousness?
Mahaprabhu is a big contender of it, Prabhu. Mahaprabhu.
Mahaprabhu?
Yeah, he can be. He's a good contender of it, right?
I don't know.
Say it again. Say it again. I'm sorry.
I think Mahaprabhu is a big contender of that. You can be a big guru, right, bro?
I'm not sure. I'm still a karmi. I'm at the low end of the totem pole here.
Karmi means a person that is still generating karma.
His dog is also laughing outside. He's saying, "Who is this guy?"
When you take initiation, you should be at that point free from generating new karma. But of course, in the neophyte stage of Kanistadikari, it's almost impossible, it's actually impossible not to generate new karma. Because the minute you're there, if you get married, you go into business, you're generating karma. Right? So why are we messing around on the material platform? We're talking about spiritual master being an uttamadhikari. That means free from any tinge of material feeling,
Conditioning.
thought. Yes.
Jai.
Prabhuji, can I have a word, please?
Sure. Yes.
Hi.
Kaushal
Yeah.
Prabhu, what's the topic? First of all, tell me the topic name.
Yeah. You showed us a video of one Prabhuji, right? He's Radheshyam Prabhu.
Yes.
Actually, you have to see his work. He travels from Calcutta to Pune and southern India, and everywhere I am seeing it myself. Early morning, 4:30 a.m., bunch of 100 young guys, getting into Nagar Sankirtan and into Aarti and all that. He's bringing some, phenomenal transformation in youth. I'm seeing it myself, especially in Pune, Pune in India, in Maharashtra state. His organization and his work has been really extremely phenomenal, and I don't know what your internal issues are, but I haven't ever seen him utter a word without Prabhupada. Just, if he speaks for an hour, in an hour, at least 100 times he'll be uttering Prabhupada. Prabhupada said this.
Okay. So you're saying, what is the problem with what he's saying? And from what you have seen, he's talking about Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. Is that what you're saying?
No, he's accusing us of offending him. And in our discussions, Istagosthi, we have never offended Radheshyam Prabhu. We were discussing a philosophy that is being promoted in some groups. So discussing a philosophy is not offending someone as a person. We respect Radheshyam Prabhu as much as we respect you, Kushal.
Ramachandra, who is this person we're talking about?
It's the video of the devotee who was professing that why couldn't Srila Prabhupada make acharyas or diksha gurus, uttamadhikari diksha gurus?
Because an uttamadhikari is not made by anybody. When you start the process for becoming an uttamadhikari, you're no longer under the control of your guru. You come under the control of Vishnu, Paramatma. It's between you and Paramatma. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, at that stage, which is Madhyamadhikari, developmental stage, on the higher plane, the medium plane, up to Krishna Loka, that the person that is doing that is on his own. And Vishnu, Paramatma. Why? Because Paramatma is Krishna, and he can help the jiva transition from his material mentality and material, purified, spiritual, high level, ISKCON, Pujari level, perfectual standard on Kanistha platform, how to let go of that and come up through the Madhyamadhikari platform to gradually begin to develop his swarup, or his spiritual form, bit by bit in relationship to Krishna, which is reciprocal. It's not created by the guru and it's not created by the disciple. It's created between the Kanistha that wants to advance. He becomes the Madhyamadhikari. It's arranged between himself and Krishna, one-on-one. It has nothing to do with guru at that point. Guru is described by Bhaktisiddhanta as standing outside, watching to make sure the Madhyamadhikari doesn't fall down, because he could get puffed up in the process of becoming purified.
Yeah, Prabhu, thank you. I'm really impressed by the work he's doing, especially weaning people out of addictions. I have seen that myself. Phenomenal people he has created. Okay, that apart, we were also talking about the names of God, right? And in this regard, what Prabhupada had got to say, that's very important. He had actually delivered a lecture at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology in US. So there, when a student asks something, Prabhupada replies this way: there is no difference. I've already explained that we are recommending that you chant the holy name of God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself used to say there are billions and billions of names for God. If you have got any holy name of God in your religion, you can chant that. We don't say that you chant Krishna. Just like when you are thirsty, you want water, somebody may call it water, somebody may call it pani, somebody may call it jala. That does not matter, but you want water. Similarly, if you have got any name for calling the Supreme Lord, you call it that name. It does not matter. That is our recommendation.
Well, we know that, and Krishna has hundreds of millions of names, so many names that the serpent Anantasesha has unlimited heads, correct?
Yes.
Sesha, Naga, has unlimited heads. Each mouth on his head opens and he speaks a name and pastimes of Krishna. No, he never repeats, one head never repeats himself ever. In other words, he never duplicates pastime, same old pastime. No, each thing is fresh and ever fresh. And on top of that, he has unlimited heads. And each one of those heads is also speaking and never repeating himself. When I said, okay, you have two heads that are never repeating, each one is not repeating himself, but they must repeat each other. No, each head is uttering the unlimited qualities, name, shape, form, and pastimes of Krishna individually, unlimitedly, for eternity, never repeating himself in any of his unlimited heads. So that makes Prabhupada very strong position. You want to say Jehovah, that's one of a gazillion names. You want to say Allah, that's one of a gazillion names. You want to say Yahweh, that's one of a gazillion names. So it doesn't matter. But Krishna means something unique. Krishna means all attractive. So no matter how many names there are of God, Krishna, they all exist within Krishna because Krishna is all attractive. Like if you have a 1,000 pieces of string and they're all tied together with one string, then that string is being held attached to a final string. That final string is Krishna, and all those other strings are they're the subset of the master set called Krishna. So Krishna is the ultimate name because all attractive cannot be made bigger or smaller. There are so many varieties of names of God, but Krishna means all attractive, and all attractive completely encapsulates all those hundreds of millions of gazillions of names being uttered by Seshanaga and Christians and Muslims and Jews and Sufis, etc., all over the world.
Yes, Prabhuji, I understand that, but the importance of name is what? The importance of name is to help an individual in surrenderance of God. This is what Prabhupada himself is saying. Either you take it to the Hindu religion or Christian religion or any religion. Religion means surrendering unto God. If there is no surrendering unto God, there is no religion. So
now you're using the word God. Where did you get the word God?
Here I'm just quoting from the lecture that Srila Prabhupada has
I know. Because Prabhupada was talking to Westerners, they say God. But where did the term for God, called God, come from? Ramachandra, do you think you could look it up? the origin of God, the term God?
Yes, I can look it up. Hold on.
Why not? Because Krishna
Yes.
is beyond the word God. Wait till you see what God means. I hope you can find it. It's not always.
And one more thing, Kaushik Prabhu, just like you have various nicknames, right? At your workplace, at wherever you go, right? So it's like that. I mean, you can't chant the nickname, right? That's a quality of Krishna.
Yes, but the thing to understand is that the name of Krishna,
Okay, Prabhu, actually,
Krishna's
I am not
name
saying- Yes, please. See,
is
I
the
am
original source sound vibration in existence.
see, I'm
And
not
all
saying
the other names of God come from aspects of Krishna. That's all
Okay.
practice. If you say Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, during what? During Govardhan, when said,
see here, Srila Prabhupada himself is quoting Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.6, and he is himself saying that is the perfect type of religion which teaches surrendering to the Supreme Lord. So, and also here in the next page, he is also talking about, the name is just for establishing communication with God, understand his ways. And all religions seem to have this. So I do not see how they are different, right? And Prabhupada himself is saying that
they
you
are
can
different.
Yes, please.
Okay, you may be named. What is your birth name that your parents gave you?
Yes, the same name, Kushal.
Okay. Now, haven't you been called by so many nicknames, different types of?
Of course.
Of course.
You yourself
So
called
all
me.
except for Krishna is the original name of the original Godhead. All the other names are pertaining to maybe he's blue, maybe he plays flute, maybe he dances with Radharani, maybe he dances on the heads of Kalia, you know.
No, sorry to interrupt. Here, Srila Prabhupada himself is explaining that these names are based on the cultures. Cultures are producing names. Here, he is himself
Yeah.
explaining that the
That's
water
because,
is being.
did you miss what I was saying? Krishna, God, has unlimited such activities. Therefore, no matter which activity you're talking to, you're either talking about God, Krishna, or you're talking about somebody else, like a tree or a rock. Krishna is the original personality. And all these other names either are come from Krishna's name or refer to Krishna.
One more thing, Kaushik Prabhu, on this.
Did you
Very
find
sorry.
God, by the way, Ramachandra, by any chance? Did you find
The definition of God, I have it on the screen here.
Okay, let's see, because he's talking God as though God is more central than Krishna. But let's see.
Okay, the meaning of God from the Oxford Dictionary. In Christianity and other monotheistic religions, the creator and the ruler of the universe, the supreme being. The creator and ruler of the universe, the supreme being. Second definition, a superhuman being or spirit worshipped as having power over nature or human fortunes, a deity, an image of God, an idol. Then the third meaning, a greatly admired or influential person. Guards, informal, the gallery in the theater, exclamation used for emphasis or to express surprise, anger, distress, etc.
Now, can you find out where the origin of the G0D came from?
Okay, let me find out.
Etymology.
Okay, etymology, all right. Okay, so Kaushal Prabhu, are you understanding the point that Narayan Prabhu is making? That Krishna, how the name Krishna is different from God. Can you understand that point? There might be millions and billions of names of God, but here Krishna means a specific person, and he has specific qualities which no other name of God has. Which,
And
I guess one more thing, Prabhu,
he
here you
is,
can do.
he's all attractive,
yes,
which means there can be no other form of God that takes precedence over all attractive.
yes. So these
Kaushal
are,
Prabhu needs to do
yeah.
a research on the word Lord Krishna. Just do a research on this word. You'll find all your answers. How is that word made? This word is, I mean, full, right? There's a full universe in this name behind what's the meaning of this name, right? Just research it within Prabhupada's archives or his old talkings or his Srimad Bhagavatam, whatever book he has written. You'll find it specifically what is the full meaning of Krishna word. It fulfills everything. It's covering everything.
Krishna
Right?
means all attractive.
Yeah.
That's all it means.
He'll get that. He should find that the meaning of that word, right? Specifically. Then his answers will be
But what
clarified
I'm
there.
asking is, can we find the word origin of G0D, G-O-D?
Prabhu, what I am trying to convey is.
Now, can you find, just humor me if you can. Try
Yes,
to,
please.
Here.
try to just look in the dictionary. What
Here
does
it
the
is.
word G0D derive from? What is its original language? What is its original meaning? We talk
Rupa,
about
your
the
turn.
word God. What?
From Jai Prabhu's turn.
Did you
Can you
find
read
it?
this? Yes, she found it.
Sure.
Okay, what does it say?
Okay, the English word God comes from the Old English God, which itself is derived from the Proto-Germanic Gudan. Its cognates in other Germanic languages include gup, gudis, good, God, and Gott.
Okay, let's go down more.
Does anyone say, does it have a direct definition of what G0D means? Why is that? Why that word?
You want me to look it up in the dictionary or what?
Whatever.
Okay.
Okay, God, word, etymology.
But etymologies, I guess you can see it here. It's coming from some Proto-Germanic language, it's saying.
Yeah. But why G0, why G-O-D? Why not some other word altogether?
That's a good question. Who can answer that?
Prabhu, these words are all evolution over time, right? So, in fact, in India, we never
You're
had.
talking about German English, English-German word Gott. As far as I know, my understanding is, but I would appreciate if you can find it, Gott refers to a force, a dark force in the top of a mountain. So that's because people, before they were Christians, they had superstitious feelings for dark forces in the tops of mountains. So they go, God, that's God, God. So now we're taking it in India, having been enslaved by the British, accepted the British definition of Krishna being God, the dark force in the mountain. But that's not right. According to Prabhupada, all the languages on earth come from two sources only: Sanskrit and animal sounds. In other words, Sanskrit, like the word Chintamani Dham, in English you'll find domicile or domestic. In Russia, you'll find a house is called Dom, D-O-M.
Okay, we got about 12 minutes, so let's.
Did you find it?
Yes, I found it, but it's very long, so I don't think we want to.
What's the short version?
I don't know which version you want to take. You can take the Catholic
I want
version.
to know what YG0, YGOD, as opposed to something else, cat or mouse or apple. YGOD.
Can you see it on the screen? Etymology of the word God.
Okay. The exact origin is unknown. New European invention. Never Judeo-Christian. Well, what can you find? Got. Persian coda. Does it give any idea of why that sound was chosen?
Nope. No, we'll have to do more deeper research into the word if you want to go that route. So there's the
Okay.
Catholic Encyclopedia Etymology of the word God, then there's the Oxford English Dictionary, and there's the Webster Revised Unabridged Dictionary definition, American Heritage. So these are the different ways there.
Oxford should be good, but I mean, wouldn't it be surprising if there's no way to find out how God, what we say God, G-O-D, in German is G-O-T-T, Gott. The Germans say God in heaven is Gott in Himmel. Gott in Himmel means God in heaven.
Okay, so we have about 10 minutes. So let's
Okay.
point and then let's finish it up or wrap it up. So who wants to speak? Kaushal Prabhu, you want to say something? Then we can.
Yes, that's all. As I understood, names I think are a little insignificant. Most important is surrenderance. If one person is able to connect with the source of this universe,
Not the source, not the source. Source. What is the source? Some say this is source, that is source. We have to be specific. Here in Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada named it International Society for Krishna Consciousness, not source consciousness. Krishna is the source. When we're talking about Vaishnava philosophy, we're talking from what Prabhupada has written from his books, from the Vaishnava acharyas, and Krishna is the source.
Yes.
By disciplic succession.
Thank you.
Yes.
Going back all the way to Krishna Loka.
So if you use questionable words, then that needs to be rectified. We have answers to the questions.
Okay.
Krishna is the source. If you read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the source.
One more
And
thing,
if you
bro, the
take
six
into account-
opulences which Krishna has, right? No one has that, no?
Yes, we have talked about that. Yes. Narayan Prabhu?
Yeah.
Oh, I would re-emphasize that the word all attractive means not just of other conscious beings, but of everything. All attractive is like a magnet that doesn't just attract iron, but attracts everything. So Krishna being all attractive means that one term, Krishna, is the root of the beginning of the Sanskrit language. And Prabhupada said all languages come from either Sanskrit or from animal sounds. Bark, wolf, splash, meow. We have those words. But then you have a word like domestic that comes from dam, chintamani dam. It's the same root word.
Okay. So I think that question got answered. Anything else? I think, who's that? Aryan Singh Prabhu wanted to make some comments. Prabhu, sorry,
And also, do you have anybody online that has left any comments?
Okay, yes, I give primary chance to the devotees here. So let me look while the devotees here speak. Anyone
Yeah.
can unmute themselves and make a point, question, or anything else.
Bro, there's a room lecture in 1971 in Allahabad. So that will answer. I've sent you the link to Kaushal Prabhu. It's specifically written there. So God, it is said by Prabhupada. So God, if God is not at all attractive, he cannot be God. So the specific all attractive is only in Krishna. No other can be a supreme God. That's the definition. Yeah.
Jai.
Jai. Prabhupada. I've sent it to the link, Kaushal Prabhu. Just read
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Please,
Yeah, I
please.
will look into it, Prabhu. I've just
Please,
bookmarked.
please. Yeah, yeah. Hari Bol. Jai. Jai, Prabhupada. Jai.
Hello.
Hari Bol. Jai.
Hey, Hare
Hi.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. It's so good to see you, Prabhu.
Follow Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Well,
I'm waving at
Yeah.
you.
Why
said-
are
I'm waving at you. I'm
Hare
waving at
Krishna.
you. Can you
Hare
see me?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You're
Hare
getting
Krishna.
older and older. You're getting grown up.
I see your face.
You see his face. Okay. Okay.
You want to wave at me?
Hi, Krishna.
Hi.
Hatse. Show your hands.
Hello.
Okay. So, anything else for Booze? I think we had an interesting, wonderful discussion today. That we answered the question of the guru question, which we have answered so many times, and we have looked at different angles. And if anyone has a question, we would like to ask them to come on our Zoom or join the WhatsApp group and post it in there, and then we can have a discussion. Right?
Either post a question or come on and speak themselves. Either
Yes.
one, right?
Yes, this
Now,
is an
are
open
there any-
invitation.
Did anybody leave comments or ask questions online?
Okay, let me check that 1 second.
Because we shouldn't neglect them if they did.
There's one question that we can end it at. I'll post a question here. Rob is
one?
asking, what do you think of Jesus and the Bible? What do you think of Jesus and the Bible? Who wants to take that on?
Here's Mahaprabhu.
Mahaprabhu is in the house. Hari Bol.
Hey.
Jai.
Haribol, Haribol. Jai. Jesus.
Back in the house, huh?
Well, that goes back to the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. As we spoke of before, there's
Okay.
three. There's three. It's a Trinity. Or not?
Says St. Paul.
Earlier,
I think that question was
Understand
actually answered.
that according to Prabhupada, Jesus is a Shaktivesh avatar. He's a partial incarnation that descended to try to help people elevate from gross material consciousness and was rewarded, as might be expected, by being murdered by the people he came to save. Is that pretty close, Mahaprabhu?
sounds good to me.
All
So
right.
Jesus is not Krishna. Jesus is like you and Jiva, but empowered.
Was he an avatar?
And there are many Shaktivish avatars who have appeared of various types for various purposes. Pretty much anyone with extraordinary power can be understood to be a Shaktivish avatar. Like Shaktivish avatars have appeared in Kali Yuga to cause destruction. They're not representing Krishna, but they are coming to represent the Kali Yuga. to make things worse for everyone, so that Kali Yuga will not be as nice as it used to be. So you see, it's all these wars that are going on. There's the influence of Shaktivish avatars in those. But the cure is to chant Hare Krishna. The Shaktivish avatar may come to make the world a worse place. But by chanting, we separate people from the worst place that has been made, and give everyone the chance of perfect future for their life.
Right.
Try.
Right.
Anything
All right.
else?
Very well stated. Thank you,
Thank you.
Narayan. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Okay, that's about it for the online comments. Thank you to all the devotees for joining online, offline, everywhere they're watching. Please join us. We have a
Hare
link
Krishna.
in our WhatsApp group.
Krishna.
You can join, just click into it, and then you can send us messages, comments, feedback, anything you like. Thank you very much,
Hare Bol.
Prabhus.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Okay.
Jai Mo.